Hello guys, this is the 14th and the last lecture of the Geographical Information System MOOC course, and in this video lecture I am going to discuss the limitations of GIS. As the name you can also already saw. So basically we'll show you some of the points, some of the drawbacks still exist in geographical information system. As you already know, that every information system have some sort of limitations. So the same thing is true also for GIS, but the most interesting thing is that day by day these limitations are decreasing. So let's start with we'll show you some of the limitations of GIS what are still exist that I will point out here. So first one is there, that is the expensive. The entire GIS system is, well, yes, it is true, it is really expensive. Expensive means GIS data, if you want to purchase some sort of satellite images, aerial photograph or drone images, so the data is definitely costly compared to other types of data. And the cost of hardware, cost of computer, and lot of additional input output devices are required, so that is also expensive. So the cost of data, cost of hardware, computer system, and sometimes the cost of software. If you use proprietary software, then the proprietary software licensing cost is high. Although one fortunate thing is that nowadays lot of open source free software is available. Whatever, somehow if you remove the cost of software, but still the cost of data and the cost of computer system and their accessories are there still. So a GIS system is not cheap because of the complex interconnection of the various components that make up a GIS system. Hardware, software, data, those costs are really little bit of expensive for organization, or even if you want to perform some sort of research, and for your research if you want to buy some GIS data, this is still little bit of costly affair. Then come the availability of data. That is another problem for GIS. Still lot of most of all of us are facing. For example, data for a specific area may lack spatial and temporal continuity. Let me explain these two terminology, spatial and temporal continuity of the data. For example, if you want to prepare a GIS for Kolkata Corporation area, and whenever you want to prepare GIS for KMC area, you need lot of data. For example, I need the data for road, for transportation purpose. I need all the water bodies, whatever is there. I need the elevations, the terrain data for Kolkata. I need satellite image, high resolution satellite image for identify different types of spatial object. So all the example that I given to you, these are the spatial data required for this KMC area. So what happen when you identify all those data required? Some of the data maybe you will get, but some of the data are very difficult to find out or hard to prepare. So there is a lack of spatial continuity. I need 4 types of data. For example, out of those 4 types of data, 3 types of data I already got, or maybe I will get very easily, but one data which is very difficult to find out for the KMC area. This is called lack of spatial data continuity. And the example of temporal continuity is there. When you prepare a GIS for KMC area, for example, you need population data for last 10 years or for last 20 years. Now what happened, you get the population data for 1980, 1990, but supposed to be example, you are not getting the population data for 2000. You already got the data for 2010. So the example, I got the population data for KMC area for 1990, 1980, but missing for 2000, although 2010 I already got. So this is the example of lack of temporal data continuity. For the 5 decades I got the data, for one particular year I am not getting any population data. So this is sometimes problematic, and this is called lack of temporal continuity is data temporal continuity is missing in your GIS data. Spatial continuity missing, temporal continuity missing. So this is the another drawback you may consider. Third one is there, time consuming. The process of collecting, storing and analyzing of information using a GIS system is long and tedious, and therefore time consuming. This point I already told you in my earlier video lecture. So collecting data, storing and analyzing all these information is a time consuming affair. Lot of cost have to devote, lot of long time you have to devote when you doing this data collection, data processing, data editing. But still we are not getting any benefit from this GIS system, because the process is going on, data collection, data processing, data creation. You not get the benefit, but you have to devote time, you have to expend so much money. Cost is there. So that is the cost profit graph is there. Initially it's a huge cost have to is there, but no profit. But once the GIS system is ready, then definitely cost is less, you will get more and more benefit from it. So that is there, but initial cost, initial time have to spend for, and that is the another definitely we can consider one disadvantage of GIS. Okay, so expensive, availability of data, where we are talking about lack of spatial and temporal continuity of GIS data. Time consuming, initially you will not get any benefit, but at the initial stage have to lot of cost is there, lot of investment is required, but we will not at all get any benefit unless GIS system will ready. Once the GIS system is ready, people using, organization using, then you will getting benefit from it, and at that time definitely cost is very low, but initially that is there. Then the data distribution, due to central government, due to state government restriction, a lot of legal barriers are there. So the GIS data distribution is still very strict. Privacy and security issues can sometimes limit distribution of data. GIS data is sensitive data, we may consider. For certain region, for certain territory, you will not at all share the GIS data freely. You have to take permission. For example, high resolution satellite image, detailed map for military region, air base. This is, you can't freely distribute those sort of data unless proper permission. So the legal barriers is there, security issues are there, data privacy is another factor, is still there. But I hope people also hoping that in the near future government agency and state or central government agency we hope they will reduce, they will make that GIS data distribution much more easier. And another one is their training is another factor. I mean, once you have to prepare GIS, or once you want to use GIS, you need proper training, whether for preparation of GIS, whether for using of GIS, you need proper training. I mean, the layman cannot use GIS very appropriate way. Maybe specific type of task can perform anybody, but whenever you will perform some sophisticated work using GIS, you need appropriate training. So the learning curve on GIS software can be long, because in most of the GIS software so many different types of methods available, and all those methods are not very simple. Critical mathematical computation, statistical computation is there. So all these concepts you have to learn properly, then you can perform those sort of methods in GIS software. So the learning curve, so you have to learn it, and it will take time. You need proper training, 6 months, 1 year training, at least 6 months training is required to handle GIS software properly, appropriate way, so that you can prepare, you can use GIS appropriate way. Then the sixth one is their quality of existing data, because based on existing data most of the time we prepare GIS. We do not prepare GIS data always from the scratch. For example, we prepare GIS based on existing cadastral map, existing topo sheet, existing thematic map. So your existing map is not appropriate if this existing map already contains some sort of error. So based on those map, if you prepare GIS, definitely once you prepare GIS based on those sort of map or data, your ultimate product also contain lot of errors. So this point you have to remember. Quality of the available data directly affects the accuracy of the end system. Which type of data you are using your GIS, and based on this data, when you perform different types of analysis and create a new sort of data, so definitely your new data will contain lot of error, because this new data you prepared from that type of data which have already lot of errors. So quality of data, quality of map, quality of satellite image is play very vital role, and that is also one point or one limitations of GIS we may consider. Then one is their misuse of data. Lot of time different organization or common people will misuse the GIS geospatial data, or we do not interpret it properly. In lot of municipalities, in lot of government organization, I mean such type of government organization, those who handle locational data, they have already some sort of data, but they are not at all aware of this. They again try to prepare. So this is typically misuse of data. Sometimes from the satellite image, due to not appropriate knowledge, do not have sufficient training from the satellite image or from the aerial photograph, whatever the feature they identify, that's not the correct one. Supposed to be they identify from the satellite image, and they consider this is a agricultural land, but actually this is a wetland. So they misinterpret. They interpret agricultural land, they interpret wetland as a agricultural land. So this is sometimes very, very dangerous one. And misuse, if you consider, I can give you one example. For example, in West Bengal, lot of agency are preparing land use, land cover map for West Bengal. So there is a data duplicacy. All the government agency, lot of government, 2 or 3 government agency, they on their own organization, they are going to prepare the land use, land cover data. So that is unnecessary. There is no collaboration between two government agency. If they have a good, if they have a proper collaboration, so they can share their data in such a way. Otherwise, unnecessary manpower, cost, lot of things is just wastage. So that is the thing. There should be a common window for data distribution purpose between the government agencies. Not only government agency, between the government and private agencies. There should be a single window. From there they should share the data, so that one organization can understand those sort of data are already prepared by another organization. So that is the things. This thing should be government, our country should make a spatial data infrastructure appropriate way. They should make a spatial data library, so that everyone can understand, every agency, every organization can understand whatever the data are already available, and not only available, such type of data they should also use for their project purpose. So in such a way we can reduce the misuse of geospatial data. So that is the things we just discussed, those 7 limitations or disadvantages. But thankfully, day by day, in the near future, few limitations maybe we hope will not at all found. One of them is their distribution of data. The expensive tag in the near future should be removed, because as you know, the software, as you know, the computer costs are day by day decreasing. Okay, and the data cost should also be reduced in near future. Okay, so that's all regarding the limitations of GIS. And that's, as I told you earlier, this is the last video of the MOOC course. So if you have any question regarding anything, I already in every video lecture I present my email address, so you can contact with me. Okay, so that's all. Thank you.